Before you watch a single second of this video, I must warn you, if you skip ahead, if you ignore the voice of your own spirit calling you now, you may never hear this truth again. This message was meant for you, here, now. And if you do not listen, you will continue chasing, begging, and wandering through a life half-lived, and worse, betray the divine purpose God placed within you. This teaching is not for the curious, the casual, or the cynic. It is for the one who has felt forgotten, overlooked, endlessly available to those who take without giving, for those who've lost themselves in the pursuit of being needed. This is your deliverance. Your moment of remembrance. A sacred revelation of how to use telepathy to make anyone, a soulmate, a lover, a friend, or even an enemy, miss you like air itself. But before we unlock these ancient mysteries, do yourself a spiritual favor. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell. Not because the algorithm demands it, but because your future self will thank you for marking this moment. Comment below as you listen, because with each word you type, you anchor this truth deeper into your consciousness. Let's begin. Neville Goddard taught that imagination creates reality, but few realize that clinging too tightly to people sends the vibration of lack. Every time you are endlessly available, responding instantly to texts, stretching yourself thin for those who barely notice you, you broadcast one spiritual message: I am desperate, incomplete, and needy. The subconscious mind of others picks up on this frequency like a dog hearing a silent whistle. You were never designed to be an accessory in someone else's life. When you abandon your own divinity in favor of human approval, you violate the law of assumption. God waits patiently for you to reclaim your throne. Neville reminds us, man moves in a world that is nothing more than his own consciousness objectified. If you fill your consciousness with obsession over another, your world will mirror that absence and denial. The danger of being constantly available is spiritual decay. You lose your ability to be missed, to be yearned for. The heart only treasures what is scarce. Emotional famine creates desire. If you deny people your presence, your energy, your light, you become unforgettable. Availability erodes mystique, and Neville knew the greatest secret: what you withdraw multiplies in power. To those who refuse this wisdom, death isn't physical, it's the death of purpose, of destiny. God waits for you to fulfill your divine mission, not to be a shadow in another's life. Those who cling to others fall into spiritual stagnation, missing their calling. You are the architect of consciousness, not its victim. Neville spent a lifetime unveiling the mysteries of the human mind, yet one teaching remains buried in plain sight: telepathy is real. Not a parlor trick, but a sacred communion between souls. Thought is the bridge between separate bodies. Every thought you hold vibrates outward into the ether, reaching the subconscious of others. He revealed, imagination is the only redemptive power in the universe. When you dwell on the feeling of being missed, longed for, desired, you transmit that essence. And it must return. Telepathy isn't reserved for mystics, it's your birthright. The tragedy is that most misuse it through obsession, worry, and clinging. Your dominant thoughts create a current, like invisible threads tugging at hearts miles away. The reason you haven't been missed is because you never declared your spiritual independence. You never learned to summon their soul without a word. Neville taught that detachment is the signal amplifier of telepathic influence. When you reclaim your mind and send thoughts of serenity, of mystery, of absence filled with beauty, the other's heart senses the void. And where there is absence, desire is born. This is not manipulation, but restoration of energetic balance. The desperate repel, the divine attract through silence. Desperation is a frequency, and it stinks. Neville warned against worshipping the idol of human attention. Every time you mentally beg for their call, their message, you reinforce your insignificance. The law of assumption states that what you assume as true hardens into fact. If you assume you are unwanted, so it shall be. Stop projecting emptiness. Each thought you think about them thinking about you only magnifies your dependence. Goddard would urge, dare to believe yourself to be the one you long to be. Become someone whose absence wounds, whose silence sings. You must cultivate your own sacred garden. Telepathy works most powerfully when rooted in indifference and certainty. Neville knew, the mind receives clearest when undisturbed. Think of them, send a silent command, you miss me. Then release it. Live your life. Laugh. Learn. Expand. The transmission is strongest in detachment. Every desperate thought is a prayer for rejection. You cannot serve God and man's approval. If you refuse to withdraw, if you cling to constant availability, you become invisible. The soul craves what feels elusive, not what chases. The secret to being missed is to stop begging and start broadcasting fullness. Neville Goddard knew the universe abhors a vacuum. When you withdraw your presence, energy, and mental obsession from someone, a void is created in their consciousness. And nature rushes to fill that void. The law is simple: that which you neglect in thought, forgets you. That which you forget, remembers you. Absence births desire. The heart is restless for what it cannot hold. When you are always present, you become part of the furniture, unmissed, unnoticed, taken for granted. Neville taught that the mind's attention moves naturally toward mystery and uncertainty. It searches for what it lacks. This is why those who are hard to reach haunt the mind. Every unanswered message, every unreturned call, plants a seed of curiosity. And curiosity is the gateway to longing. Goddard revealed that by mastering the law of absence, you command attention without effort. Telepathy thrives in the garden of silence. Absence without resentment is the art. Don't vanish to punish, withdraw to recalibrate. Focus on your purpose. Immerse in your own divine calling. As your vibration rises, theirs will sense the shift. The unseen bond tightens when left alone. Never fear absence. It is your greatest ally in becoming unforgettable. Every great mystic understood the necessity of withdrawal. Not as avoidance, but as sacred positioning. Neville's life reveals a pattern. He would often retreat from company, from correspondence, and from his own lectures to dwell in the secret place of imagination. Withdrawal is not absence, it is preparation. When you cease to make yourself physically or emotionally available to someone, you give them space to confront the absence of your essence. This absence becomes the room in which telepathy thrives. It is the vacuum that nature rushes to fill. The untrained soul fears withdrawal. It feels like abandonment. But in truth, it is divine strategy. It allows others to feel your energy without the interference of your voice. It allows your thoughts to travel without the burden of your words. Practice sacred withdrawal. Remove your attention. Go silent. Enter the quiet chamber of your mind and declare yourself already longed for. Stay there. The longer you remain absent in presence, the louder your energy speaks in their thoughts. Every human carries on a silent conversation within themselves, moment by moment. Neville taught that your inner conversations are creating your external conditions. The way you speak to yourself about others is the way others begin to perceive you. If your inner conversations are of rejection, fear, or longing, you amplify those very conditions. Instead, begin to converse inwardly as though you are already cherished, adored, and profoundly missed. Hear their voice in your mind telling you how irreplaceable you are, how often they think of you. Speak to them within, not as one begging for attention, but as one who knows their place in another's soul. Goddard insisted, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. That includes changing how you imagine others relating to you. Telepathy works not by sending frantic thoughts, but by mastering your inner dialogue so completely that the outer world must conform. Your inner conversations are not fantasy. They are blueprints. They are energetic letters dispatched into the unseen world, shaping hearts and bending events to match your dominant inner state. This is where influence begins. Neville revealed a mystical principle called the law of reversibility. If a physical effect can produce a psychological state, then a psychological state can produce a physical effect. In the context of telepathy, if hearing your voice or seeing you can make someone feel love or longing, then you imagining them feeling love or longing for you can, by law, produce that physical effect in them. This is not manipulation. It is alignment. You are not forcing them to feel what is not within them. You are awakening dormant emotions by matching the frequency of those feelings within yourself first. Telepathy is simply sending that frequency consistently into the shared field of consciousness. Imagine it clearly. See the moment when they realize your absence. Feel the ache of your distance radiating in their heart. Visualize them picking up their phone, typing your name, hesitating because they suddenly can't stop thinking of you. This is how you use reversibility. Produce the inner state, and by law, the outer effect must follow. Never doubt it. The moment you assume the inner cause, the outer effect begins to materialize. The universe cannot resist a consciousness firmly held in conviction. Neville often spoke of the language of dreams. While most dismiss them as mere subconscious clutter, Goddard saw them as active telepathic messages moving between souls. Dreams are the theater where telepathic impressions take visible form, rehearsing for their appearance in waking life. When you hold an image of someone missing you, when you construct the inner conversation of longing, that message can travel into their dreamscape. They may dream of you vividly, stirred with emotions they cannot explain upon waking. And in those moments, the connection deepens. Your task is to plant seeds before sleep. As you drift, repeat the scene in your mind's eye. Imagine them searching for you, calling out your name, or reliving beautiful memories of you. Neville believed the last image held before sleep imprints itself upon the subconscious and travels outward. This practice makes you unforgettable in their deepest, most private thoughts. Even if they resist consciously, the dream world bypasses the rational mind and delivers your telepathic signature straight to their heart. There exists a sacred summoning, a way to call someone to you without voice or message. Goddard taught that when you deeply imagine a scene, life reshapes itself to match the inner picture. The silent summoning is imagining with such clarity that the one you desire feels inexplicably drawn to you. This is done in stillness, eyes closed, heart steady. See them moving toward you, feeling the pull of your absence. Picture their day being disrupted by sudden thoughts of you, images they cannot shake, emotions they cannot name. And then, release it. Do not obsessively return to the scene. Send it once with conviction, then behave as though it is done. The moment you release the image with certainty, the current of life begins moving people, circumstances, and impulses in your favor. Trust this force. The silent summoning does not require proof. Its power lies in the invisible. You need not witness their yearning immediately, for it is being formed beneath the surface. If you believe others are separate from you, you will forever beg for their attention. Neville dismantled this illusion. He taught that everyone you meet is yourself pushed out. They reflect your dominant thoughts and assumptions about them. When you assume someone doesn't miss you, you harden them into that role. But when you persist in the assumption that you are indispensable, cherished, and unforgettable, they must, by universal law, conform to that belief. Telepathy begins not in sending thoughts outward, but in transforming your own self-image. Who are you in relation to them? Are you a beggar at the door of their affection, or the sovereign presence they cannot forget? Shift your identity. Move in imagination as one who is longed for, one whose absence weighs heavily on hearts. This is not arrogance. It is sacred self-recognition. As within, so without. The most magnetic force in the universe is not desperation, but divine detachment. Neville warned of the error of clinging. The one who is always available, always chasing, always needing, is repelling the very connection they seek. Detachment is not coldness. It is spiritual trust. It is the knowing that your desire is already fulfilled in the unseen. Once you have telepathically impressed your intention, that they miss you, long for you, seek your presence, release it. Let it go with certainty. The one who walks away in faith becomes irresistible. Why? Because mystery breeds magnetism. When you are no longer frantically seeking their attention, your absence begins to speak louder than your presence ever did. Be the one who knows their worth. The one who leaves space for others to feel their absence. The one who retreats into silence not to punish, but to radiate confidence. Your detachment is the echo of your power. There is no separation in the quantum field of consciousness. Every thought you think, every emotion you dwell in, every vision you sustain is shared. Neville described this collective field as the infinite subconscious, one mind, expressing through many forms. This means your thoughts about someone are not private. When you dwell in the idea that they miss you, crave you, regret losing you, that thought travels. It presses itself into the shared field and registers on their end as emotion, restlessness, curiosity. If you constantly affirm, they don't care, they forgot me, they moved on, you are just as powerfully broadcasting that message telepathically, and they will reflect it. So change your signal. Enter the field with intention. Send love, longing, remembrance. Be deliberate in your assumptions, because what you assume about others, they begin to feel. Neville taught that imagination is not fantasy, it is divine creation. When you imagine someone missing you, crying for you, whispering your name, that image becomes a spiritual seed. But most people abandon the seed before it blooms. They check for signs. They doubt. They uproot it with fear. This is why results stall. Sustain the inner scene. Rehearse the telepathic exchange. Hear them calling you in the silence. Feel them aching for your voice. See them restless, pacing, wondering why your energy haunts them. Let the scene become realer than reality. Your imagination, sustained with emotion, is the secret engine behind telepathy. The world bends not to effort, but to inner vision held in unwavering faith. Neville emphasized the power of inner conversations. Most are unaware that they talk to others in their minds all day, and those conversations become prophecies. If you constantly argue with someone in your mind, expect delay. If you constantly plead for attention, expect silence. But when you conduct inner conversations where they initiate love, apologize, or express longing, you are planting living thought forms. Instead of wondering what they are doing, talk to them inwardly. Hear them say, "I miss you. I can't stop thinking of you. Why did I ever let you go?" And answer calmly, lovingly, as if it were real. These conversations bypass physical limitations. They mold the soul connection. What you repeat inwardly becomes irresistible to their spirit. A key secret: those who chase rarely attract. Why? Because chasing is rooted in lack. It says, I don't have it. I need it. And telepathically, that signal is received as repulsion. Neville would have told you to stop chasing and start radiating. Radiate joy. Radiate self-worth. Radiate the confident knowing that anyone who loses you feels that loss deeply. Stand still. Become the lighthouse, not the boat. Let them be drawn to your frequency because it feels like home. The more you radiate instead of chase, the stronger the telepathic pull becomes. Presence is magnetic. Silence is potent. Radiance needs no explanation. Let your energy do the speaking. Create your sacred practice, a daily moment to telepathically connect with the one you want to miss you. This is not about begging, but imprinting. Find a quiet place. Breathe deeply. Close your eyes and summon their face. Speak to them through the heart. You miss me. You are thinking of me. You feel my presence around you. Let the words drop like stones into the pool of their subconscious. Do this with reverence, with consistency, with love. Over time, these rituals begin to haunt their soul. They may wake up thinking of you. Hear your name out of nowhere. Feel sudden emotion without cause. Your ritual becomes a sacred thread tying your energies together across time and space. Even if you haven't spoken in years, even if the connection seems lost, Neville taught that souls remain tied by invisible cords. Time and distance are illusions in the spiritual realm. Telepathy ignores logic. It travels through the thread of shared experience. The moment you re-enter that emotional space, you activate the cord. And once activated, the energy begins flowing again. Your absence is felt when you decide to be felt. When you stop being loud physically, and become loud spiritually. The thread vibrates, and the one on the other end begins to wonder, why do I feel them again? You are always connected. You only need to reawaken the line with intention. Neville's master key was simple: live from the end. Don't hope they'll miss you, assume they already do. Don't wait for confirmation, become the confirmation. Walk differently. Think differently. Make decisions as if they already confessed their longing. Speak as if the reconciliation is already written in the stars. When you dwell in the fulfilled state, you emit a frequency so aligned, the universe has no choice but to reflect it. Living from the end is not delusion, it's creation. You are not pretending. You are selecting. The multiverse contains every possibility. Choose the version of you they crave. Occupy it. Stay there. Telepathy transcends the body. While most rely on physical presence to bond, the mystic uses the higher realm of union, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. Neville described imagination as the spiritual act of intimacy. When you imagine someone holding you, remembering you, aching for you, you are engaging in sacred communion. And their soul, whether they consciously understand it or not, responds. Don't wait for texts, calls, or visits. Begin the mystical union now. Close your eyes and step into the ether. Join with their higher self. Speak to their essence, not their ego. This is love at its purest, unattached, energetic, powerful. And it is always received. Here is the final warning: if you do not learn to master your mind, your emotions, and your energy, you will betray your divine purpose. God is waiting for you to stop seeking from the outside and to begin creating from within. You were not sent here to chase love. You were sent to radiate it. You were not born to beg for presence. You were born to become presence itself. This isn't about just making them miss you, it's about awakening your true spiritual stature. The danger of not understanding this is spiritual death. To always be available, to always seek validation, to always serve others from lack, this is how you dim your light. And when your light dims, your purpose fades. But you, child of the infinite, are called to rise, to awaken, to send your thoughts with power, to speak without speaking, to summon without shouting. This is your inheritance. Take it. If you've reached this point, understand this: you are no longer the same being who pressed play on this message. What you now hold in your spirit is ancient, sacred knowledge that the world has hidden in plain sight. Neville Goddard didn't teach telepathy as a cheap trick to make someone crave your presence. He revealed it as a proof of your divinity, a demonstration of the eternal truth that all is one. The greatest tragedy of any soul is not that it was unloved, unmissed, or unseen, but that it forgot who it was. That it waited for the world to reflect its worth instead of declaring it first within. That it begged for attention when it was built to command affection with the silent language of spirit. You must remember now, your imagination is God in action. Every thought you cradle becomes flesh. Every image you hold turns to circumstance. Every feeling you sustain constructs the bridge of incidents that brings your desire into visibility. You are not here to beg for others to miss you. You are here to decide it, to imagine it, to believe it, and to radiate it, knowing that by the unchanging law of reversibility, it must be so. Leave this video with a decision. No more chasing, no more pleading, no more spiritual amnesia. Step into your divine authority. Build your telepathic altar in the silence of your heart. Speak the things that are not as though they were, and watch how swiftly the world bends to your inner voice. And remember this eternal decree. The one who masters inner conversations rules the outer world. The one who claims their absence as power becomes unforgettable. And the one who lives from the end shall never thirst again. Go now. Practice in secret. Summon in stillness. And become the presence they cannot escape. You were born for this.